Hey everybody, it's Mike Sullivan with Born to Shine. Today I'm blessed to have an awesome superintendent with us. Her name is Dr. Kathy Posey, and she is in beautiful Tennessee, such a musical state. And just want to say thank you, Kathy, for making time for us today and sharing your story with us.
Well, thank you for having me. I've been excited just to reach kids. I love kids, to talk to kids and talk to parents about what we do here. I'm the superintendent at Mount Juliet Christian Academy, and we have 1-year-olds through 12th grade. And we've been around for 48 years, and
Ooh.
we're a ministry of First Baptist Mount Juliet. And being a ministry of a church allows us to it protects us some
Mhm.
laws, but they love on us. Their pastors are in our halls. They're helping with chapel. They help us financially so we can keep our tuition low.
Mhm.
Families, middle class families can come here. We don't want to ever outprice our tuition for families. Christian education should be open to everybody. So that's a little bit about Mount Juliet Christian Academy.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And what was your journey like, Kathy, to become the superintendent with all those people, looking up to you as their leader? It's almost like a coach of a team, and they're looking for your wisdom, your experience, your guidance as a servant leader, which is such a beautiful position. What was your journey like to become that?
So my journey in educational leadership was not something I had planned. I
Mm.
actually did a lot of things kicking and screaming, and I told my mom and dad that I would never be anything more than a classroom teacher. I love the classroom. The classroom teachers, I mean, they're their hands and then they're the feet.
Hmm.
They're the ones that love on these kids. They love on these parents, and I just loved my time in the classroom.
Mm.
Um, I still keep in contact with a lot of my students and a lot of my parents.
Wow.
I've been in MJCA for 27 years.
What
So,
grades were you teaching?
right. I've taught almost everything, but I spent most of my time in first grade, which I
Okay.
love. I
Yeah,
did
yeah.
the reading and teaching kids how to read.
Yeah, they're sweet.
So we had some tragedy and some deaths that happened in our leadership. So
Mm.
I was asked to immediately move into the elementary principal, the lower school principal. And I always joke about the transition from that. I had shoulder surgery.
Hmm.
So they called me when I was on pain meds to ask me. And so I'm like, I really went kicking and screaming. But I loved being the lower school principal. I loved leading the teachers. And it gave me an opportunity to not only know the students in my classroom, but to know all the students.
Mm.
The elementary principals, they're in charge of 1-year-olds through fifth grade.
Mm.
And so, it opened the door wide and gave me more experiences than what I'd had just being a classroom teacher. And then over time, God just continued to open doors and expand my responsibilities from a teacher to an instructional coach to a principal. And here I am as the superintendent of Mount Juliet Christian Academy. But throughout the journey, I learned that leadership isn't really about service.
Mm.
I mean, it really is about
Mm.
service.
Mm-hmm.
Every role that I've played has prepared me for the next role. The tough times, the good times, bad times. You oftentimes learn more during your trials. Um, um, each time that I was asked to do something different, it was hard for me because I was so comfortable in what I was doing.
Right.
Um, I'm addicted to work. I love work. So every job that I have, I try to become the best that I can be in each job.
Yeah.
But the classroom, it taught me the importance of relationships and how to be relational. And then when I moved into administration, that taught me how my job when I was lower school principal and even as superintendent, my job is to surround those teachers, to help the teachers, to love on the teachers because they're the hands and feet of Jesus
Mm-hmm. Amen.
in our school. Um,
Amen.
and now I get to help shape the vision and the mission of Mount Juliet Christian Academy, which is so exciting because I've been here for 27 years. So it's exciting to have a voice in that, and I have a wonderful leadership team, a wonderful pastor who loves on me and helps lead me and loves the school and pours everything he can into helping our school. Of course, there's days that I really miss the classroom,
Mm.
the creativity. I love the creativity of a teacher. Um, but I'm happy where I am. I've grown to love where I am. Um, it motivates me every day knowing that we're not simply just educating our students academically, um, but we're helping them emotionally, and we do that through the Bible.
Amen.
Because we are spiritually guiding these students all the way from 1 year olds all the way through fifth grade, and we're a mission based school. And what that means is you don't have to be a Christian to come here. Your parents don't have to know the Lord to come here. You don't have to know Jesus to come here. We want to teach you about him.
Mm.
And in return, in teaching you as a student, we want to teach your family about him. And it's a really cool thing to see the whole family to come to know the Lord. Um, but we just want to love on the families. We want to take the families where they are and move them when they're ready to move. Um, but one thing I think I've learned through my journey is it's not a straight path. When you're young and get out of college, you think that this is what you're going to do forever, and God has other plans for you. Um, and so he has used several of my experiences, challenges that I've had, mentors that I've come in contact with that have helped shape me and love me, and then also trials that I've gone through have helped change me and put me for this path and prepared me for where I am today to be the leader that I am today.
I love that. That's beautiful. And thank you, Kathy, for the 27 years you've been there. That's incredible.
Yes.
And a lot of lives you're impacting. And when you were a kiddo, was there anything you struggled with? For me, I was bullied relentlessly, and I struggled with depression and anxiety. I had ADD, OCD. I had A through Z. I was just a mess.
You're a
And
mess.
yeah, was there anything you struggled with when you were a kiddo?
So, I experienced several challenges growing up that, and that's what's made me who I am today. And that is what's helped me meet the kids where they are today and the parents where they are today. I had a wonderful family growing up. Everybody called me the Leave It to Beaver family. My parents helped start a church. They had me in church every time the doors were open, but they taught me more than just going to church. They taught me about faith and how to have a personal relationship with God. And so that did help me when I was growing up. I am extremely ADD.
Mm,
I
me
still take
too.
medicine today for my ADD,
Yeah,
and finally, my doctor has me on the correct medication, and
right.
because that's changed as my body's changed through the years.
That's great.
But, when I was in elementary, middle school, and high school, I definitely had the gift of procrastination. And I didn't listen to people to understand. I was listening to people to respond.
Mm,
I did not understand that I was doing that until I had a child that had ADD.
mm,
And she'd always say, huh, to me. When I was telling her something, she'd go, huh, huh. And I'm like, I yelled at her. It irritated me. And then she said, Mom, do you know why I say, huh? She goes, I'm not listening to you to repeat. I am processing what you said.
mm,
When I thought back on my childhood, I'm like, that's what I did.
right.
I wasn't always listening to all the content the teachers were telling me. I was like, okay, now what am I going to say? What am I going to say if I'm called on? What am I going to say?
Yeah.
And of course, that hurt me in school. I had trouble getting my words out verbally and on paper because my brain was going so much faster than anything else. I had a wonderful teacher in third and fourth grade. He looped up with me, um, and he basically taught me how to do things. And he had me tested for giftedness, found out I was gifted. So I went into a program for that. And through that, they taught me how to label things, how to color code it. Like if you looked at my office today, everything's color coded. Everything, different color folders have different meanings for me in my office. And I learned all that from my third and fourth grade teacher. Um, after I finished when I was in college, my mentor in college, she discovered that whenever I'm taking a test or I'm doing anything important, do not come in with an eraser. So if you looked at my office today, there are no pencils. She
Mm,
goes, you go through and you write everything correct, and then you second guess yourself and you change everything.
mm,
Go with your gut. Go with your gut on a test. Go with your gut when you're about to speak. Go with your gut when you're writing something because you have the skills to do that. But then second guess yourself and change. So I've stuck by that. Um, in my adulthood. As a young adult, I did experience many challenges. um, I experienced seasons of uncertainty, loss, um, difficult transitions. My first husband, my college sweetheart, we got married right after college, and he passed away at the age of 32.
I'm
We had
sorry.
3 amazing girls. They were very young. He got sick when they were 2, 4, and 6, and he passed away when they were 3, 5, and 7.
Mm.
And he had a type of cancer that he was the only patient in the United States that had it at the time that he had it. And now they have a cure, but they always the oncologist will call me and go like, "We have a cure because of your husband." You know,
Wow.
they studied him. So that one experience, the way it changed me and it taught me resilience, it taught me empathy, and it taught me the importance of my faith. I truly believe that when people go through things, kids go through things, young adults go through things, senior adults go through things, you have two choices. You can run to God or you can run away from God. So just because you choose in the moment to run away from God doesn't mean that you're going to stay away from God. It's just what you choose in that moment. And I chose to run to God. And my faith is so deep. It grew. My girls are strong women. They're confident women. They're leaders in their profession. They all go to different churches than I do, but they're all leaders in their church, which makes me very proud. And I know their dad would be proud too. Um, but all of that came through my challenges. I lost my dad when he was young. Not very many years after my husband passed away, my dad passed away.
Mm.
That changed who I was as a daughter to my mom, as a mother to my girls. So that changed me. But I mean, I could tell you all the stories about how he worked in my life and how those challenges have taught me things that the girls and I we don't stress about the small things.
Right.
I'll go home from work and I can leave everything at the doorstep and
Mm.
walk and just be a mama, be a wife, and do all the things that I need to be a grandma. Things that I need to do. And I really think that my struggles in elementary, middle, and high school, how God was preparing me to be strong and confident in my own body and who I was. I wasn't like my friends. I struggled with my friend relationships, some in elementary school and middle school and high school. I think all that was preparing me for the path that He has set forth now, not only personally, but in my work, in my work career. But one of the greatest lessons I've learned is that the struggles that we go through, the struggles that you're going through as a 5-year-old,
Mm.
the struggles when you go through even as a toddler, developmentally, when you can't tell your mom and dad what you're thinking in your head, you can't get that out of your mouth, and you're so frustrated in your head. God is using that. God is using those struggles for the very wonderful things that you're going to do as you grow. Um, you know, He's preparing you for something big. I have many friends that had no struggles in elementary, middle school, and high school. Um, everything came easy to them. Studying came easy to them. Tests came easy to them. Um, when they graduated from college and they worked, that did not come easy for them because they didn't know how to work at things. They didn't have the grit that you have when you grow up with struggles. Um, so they had to work at that. They didn't know how to study. They didn't know how to work hard at a job because they've never had to work hard at a job, which which is wonderful when you're younger. Um, I do feel like that all the experiences that I had in school, in college, I struggled. I struggled getting my bachelor's. I had to study. If I had a test, I would study 15 to 16 hours for a test. I had to learn what worked for me for studying a lot of content. And I tried all these different things because, I'm old and they didn't have as many things back there, as many resources for somebody that was ADD. And so college was hard. It was very hard. And the college I went to Johnson University. And if you made below a B and you were in the education program, you had to retake the class.
Mm.
And so I did a whole semester of retakes that I had had C's with my first 2 years. But by that time, I had kind of learned my study habits and what to do. But because of those struggles in elementary, middle, high school, and college, get my bachelor's, I feel like I can relate to the students and to the parents and to the teachers.
Hmm.
When they're struggling with, how do I help the student? How do I help this student who is struggling with this home life, who just had a parent that died, who isn't able to verbalize to me, and can't get the things out. So I do feel like that all of that combined has helped me be able to relate to some families that other people have cannot relate to.
Amen for that. That is beautiful, Dr. Posey, and it's true. God shapes us through the challenges. We're not shaped through successes, winning and receiving awards. That doesn't shape us. It's through the difficulties and the pain and the challenges that the world brings, and God uses it. And I love how you said it's made you more empathetic and more
Hmm.
resilient and able to connect better and walk alongside students that are going through that. I had severe ADD too, so I know how hard it is to study. I know how hard it is to read and then remember, what did I just read? I forgot it.
Right.
So I'm with you, and I love how God walked alongside you and used all of that and redeemed it now as a servant leader that has a huge, loving heart, that has empathy just oozing out of you. I can feel it, and resiliency and compassion, and that's you're exactly where God wanted you, and that's beautiful. I just love it. So if you're a kiddo watching this and you're struggling with ADD like Dr. Posey and I did as students, God's going to use it. It's going to
Yeah.
use it for something great for you. If you're an adult and you have ADD, God's going to use it maybe in your work environment, or maybe you're the boss. You could use that too, just by connecting with others. I just love it. I think your story is beautiful. So, yeah,
I do think having ADD, it helps me be able to handle different things coming at me.
me too.
Um,
Multitasking.
yes, because for some people can only work on one problem and they can't move on. I can have things coming at me all day and be like, da, da, da,
Right.
da, da,
That's
you know.
right.
And I do think because of my ADD, that's a gift
At
of the
100%, 100%. There's definitely a blessing, and I'm with you. Same with music, because you're like, wait, a trumpet needs to be here. Wait, I think a piano needs to be here. Oh, I think we need some more drums. I think we need a saxophone solo right now, or violin. Yeah, and how it all just blends. That's true. The way God wires people with that,
Mhm.
I believe it's all a gift, and it's just learning how to use that to
Right.
shine the glory to God and praise Him, and also softening our hearts to be servants of others. Because without struggles, usually people end up pretty arrogant and pretty self-centered. But it's the ones who have the challenges, like you and me, that all
Mhm.
of a sudden God uses that to soften our heart and to be more humble and to be more compassionate and be more empathetic, and people are just so drawn to that, and then that's where the healing can begin. So
Right.
yeah, I love it. And if you had a magic wand and you could just bring anything into your school, whatever that would look like, to support your students, staff, and parents
Mhm.
more, because you're already doing a beautiful job. If it was just like, let's just pour this cup and have it overflow with life-giving programs, or whatever that would look like, what would that, just to dream together, what would you love to have more of?
Wow. There's many, because I can dream big.
Yeah, yeah.
There's many, there's many different facets that I would love to eventually have. We have a phenomenal lower school guidance counselor right now. Phenomenal.
Awesome.
She does so many things for us. She's in the classrooms. She's in the classrooms every month, teaching them about their emotional health.
Good.
Um, she meets with a lot of students one on one. She meets with students as groups. I need another one of her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I need somebody for the upper school for those
Mm-hmm.
girls,
Yeah,
especially, are
totally.
just going through so many things.
Mm.
For so many boys that as they go through puberty, they're dealing with anger.
Yeah.
So I'd love to have three people on staff for that kind of thing for us. And I also want to add parent workshops and parent training.
Mm.
You what we're seeing now is parents are thirsting for help on how to raise their kids in this crazy world that we have.
Right.
Uh, Raising a kid right now is not easy. It
No.
is it is not easy.
Mm-mm.
They are inundated with so many things, social media, the TV shows they're watching, the commercials they're watching, AI, all of those things, and parents today, I do believe, need more help than ever before. They need help in teaching their kids how to filter through things, appropriate ages, appropriate discipline, appropriate ways to listen to them and let them have a voice
Hmm.
in the decisions that are made. It's just so much harder. In everything that you do as a parent, everything you do as a kid is being filmed,
Mm.
and it can get out there.
Right.
And that's a lot of pressure. We even see the pressure our 4-year-olds talk
Hmm.
about the pressure.
Yeah.
So things that when I first began 27 years ago that we were seeing in our third and fourth graders, our 4-year-olds can verbalize some
Hmm.
of the stresses they're going through. And so just having the right trained people on staff that can work with our kids, but help these parents. They're thirsting for things. I want to offer it to them free. I don't want it to be something they have to pay for. I want it to be where they can come, they can learn, their kids can be, in the same building learning and having a good time so that they're not worried about, getting a babysitter and all of those things.
Hmm.
Um, I would love to launch something like that. And then I would also love to launch, some kids going to school 5 days a week is very hard.
Mm.
It's very hard for them emotionally.
Mm.
And some kids with ADD, it's too much. It's
That
just too
was for
much.
me. Yeah, me
Sit,
too.
sit all day. I struggled with that.
Me too.
I still don't sit
Yeah.
well all day.
I don't either.
I struggle in my meetings. And anybody in a meeting with me can tell you that I struggle after a long period of time. I would love to open up a hybrid section of Mount Juliet Christian Academy where I have a whole different section where kids can choose to come 3 days or 2 days. They have their own teachers, and then their parents can have them at home the other days, doing some extra things to get their energy out, to give them the space. Every parent that I meet with, they have a kid that has ADD or anxiety or autistic. I'm like, get them involved. The busier they are, the better. Get them, those autistic kids, get them around other kids in social situations, just not in a structured school environment. And so I would love to open a wing of that, um, just for kids that need it, or families that desire it, families that have stay-at-home moms that they can stay home and work with their kids, and then keep the traditional school that we are running too, because many kids thrive in that. God didn't create every kid equally, and every kid learns differently. And so we are launching a special ed section of our school. It is just hard right now in Christian education. If somebody wants Christian education, what our society is saying to them is, you have to pay $40,000 a year to get
Mm.
that, and that's not
Mm.
right.
Mm. No.
So we have softly launched. We're launching a little more next year, and then 27, 28, we're fully launching, where families that have kids that have special needs can come to our school. They can
Wonderful.
come and learn about the Lord on their level, any level they're on. They can hang out with kids in PE, and if they're really good at math, they can go to class for math class, and at a reasonable price that a middle class family can send their kids here. So, I mean, I have many dreams.
No, you
Dream.
do. I love it. I love it. No, that's awesome.
I just, I love kids. I love families.
Yeah, it's obvious, and it definitely comes across, and it's beautiful, and it's so cool how God is working through you. It really is. And if there are parents watching this, Kathy, or if it's another superintendent like you, or if it's even a kiddo, or parents or staff, what are some words of encouragement that you would want to leave with her or him?
So, for students, I would say that God created you uniquely. You don't have to be like everybody else. Be who you are. Get comfortable in your own skin. Um, grow in ways that you want. If you're athletic and you love that, grow in that. Be confident in that. But if you're not athletic, grow in fine arts, grow in music, grow in drama. Find out who you are. And to parents on that end, when they're young, all the way through middle school, let them try everything.
Hmm.
It will drive you crazy driving them everywhere, but let them try everything
Right.
and just have all those experiences and decide, what do I want to focus in on?
Right.
And, for students, you're going to be okay. It might seem like that you're not going to be okay, but you're going to be okay. Whatever your school life looks like, if it's hard, you're going to be okay. You're going to make it. There's people that will come around you, surround you, love you. You will meet. God will put mentors in your path that will help you and guide you. Don't give up. You're gaining grit. Um, you're you're going to be so resilient. You're going to be a much better employee um, if you're going through struggles. I will, as a superintendent, I like to hire people that have gone through struggles because they're tough, they're confident. And by the time you get to college, you're confident, you're resilient, you have grit. You know what it's like to work hard. You know what it's like to get your hands dirty, and you know what it's like to be a servant leader.
Yes.
Parents, I think to parents, um, I would say do the research, all the research you can. Go to classes. Don't be afraid to admit that you don't understand things. Go to somebody that's older than you. Go to somebody that has walked the path that you're walking with your kids. Work on patience. Um, that is very hard. I did raise a child that is extremely ADD, has severe social anxiety, and dyslexic. And then I have two other kids that were high academic. School was not hard for them. They struggled more in the social realm because their intelligence was high. Um, but I mean, there's days I lock myself in the bathroom. There's days that I would tell her that I'm putting myself in timeout. It's okay to take those breaks. It's okay to have somebody come watch your kids. You need a break, especially if you're working while they're in school. You need a mommy and daddy break too.
Yeah.
Um, One thing that I did set up in my household that I loved as a mom is that when I walked in to work from work, and my husband walked in when he was alive, and then now I'm remarried. So when my husband now walked in, when we got home, we sat on the couch and we talked before our kids talked to us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I showed our kids that my marriage is is more important than my children. I'm growing you to leave. I'm growing you to be an independent adult. And the things we talked about, and then we poured into our kids the rest of the night. We had a schedule because of my child that struggled. My second marriage, I came in with two other kids, so we had five kids.
Mm-hmm.
We were extreme. She liked everything scheduled. We labeled things. We stuck to our schedule. And then when we weren't, I would prepare her ahead of time. Um, had, I mean, but she can tell you I was hard on her. I was hard on her. She can tell you that I loved her. But I was hard on her. The thing that worked the best for her as she got older is she had a journal. And so she she would have it in her room. She would write in it. Anything she wrote in it, I would not punish her for. Anything. She was open to tell me anything, any of her feelings, anything that she had done. I don't care how dark and deep it was that she was feeling. She would write that in there. When she was done, she would put it outside her door and she would go to bed. So
Mm-hmm.
every night I would go get the journal and then I would write back to her,
Mm-hmm.
not in a way to correct her, not in a way to tell her that she did something wrong, but in a loving way to tell her that she's okay. These feelings are normal. Um, it's okay to feel like this. It's okay to go to a dark place, but you got to know that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And I would offer a couple of suggestions, and I would always say, these are just suggestions. You can come to me. You can come to me and talk. So, I mean, she would write, I cheated on a test because I didn't know how to do it. Never punished her, never told anybody else. I just spoke into her how she's smart, how she can do it, how it's not about the grade. It's about the knowledge you're gaining. I don't care about your grade. All I care about is knowledge. I don't care what your report card says. I don't care what a test score says. All I want you to do is learn. Um, so that was one thing that worked very well. I did it with all the girls, but for her especially because she struggled with
Mm,
social anxiety so much. She didn't eat in the cafeteria for 4 years.
mm,
She ate with a group with a teacher because it was too hard for her to walk in there. And I'm teaching in the same building she's in, but it was still too hard.
mm,
Something else that I did that was really cool that worked, I think it helped their emotional health is I just got a big jar and I sat down with each kid and I said, tell me your favorite things to do. Tell me your favorite things to do. And I did it with each kid separately. And so they told me going outside, riding my bike, watching TV, you reading me a book. Like they could say anything they wanted. And I put it on little strips of paper. And then we put it all in a big, huge jar. And then I added slips in there that said grace and mercy. And so when they misbehaved, I didn't just blurt something out of anger out of my mouth. I said, go draw out of the jar. And so if they drew riding my bike, I decided based on that act how long they were going to miss out on riding their bike.
mm,
And then if they do grace and mercy, I mean, you have to be willing to do it no matter what they did, no matter how horrible it is. I went to the scriptures and I explained how God gives us grace every single day. And I'm
mm.
giving you grace right now. You're not going to be punished.
Right.
And so, we continued to add to the jar, put things back, and take things out as they grew and developed. But that helped me calm down as a parent,
Mm,
oldest child that struggled so much. It helped me not get so angry on the inside
mm,
and feel like failure and I wasn't understanding her. I'm so social and so relational that I struggled understanding her. I love to read. I struggled with the dyslexia. Um, and so all of those things just helped me not react. I didn't react. I had a plan and I stuck to my plan.
I love that. Dr. Posey, this is amazing. I mean, your heart and the way that God has um, poured into you and transformed you into the woman, the godly woman that He wants you to be, and is just amazing. And now how you're pouring that grace, how you're pouring that mercy, how you're pouring words of encouragement. I know in the Bible it says, words are our words are super powerful. I'm paraphrasing that. Words can bring life or death. So let's
Right.
breathe life into each other, right? And I think Toby Mac, one of the Christian artists, speak life, right? Speak life, speak life. Let's
Amen.
breathe life into each other. And you're doing that for your kids, for your staff, for the parents. And thank you so much for sharing your time, for sharing your heart, for sharing your empathy, your compassion, and just your story. Thanks for sharing with us today.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
You were born to